Mrs. Scatterday, do you think it's possible to bring back the dodo birds?
That's a good question. Let's think back to how the dodos went extinct. A long time ago, a terrible storm forced two different species to leave their home. One was the Rodriguez solitaire and the other was the dodo birds. Over time, the dodos lost the ability to fly. They became creatures of the earth, not of the sky. On this volcanic island, the dodos had no natural enemies. They ate roots and berries, and the females laid one egg per year in nests hidden on the ground. The dodos led a good, quiet life, but of course nothing gold can stay. In 1598, the Dutch stopped on Mauritius on their way to the East Indies. While they were there, they were fascinated by the birds on the island, namely the dodo birds. This flightless bird, having had no enemies, had an unbounded sense of curiosity. They waddled. Because of the dodo's unbridled curiosity, they made easy targets for the sailors' breakfast, lunch, or dinner. While the Dutch were running around trying to capture their next meal, the cats and rats and pigs aboard the ship silently snuck off and hid in the brush till the commotion ended. This was the start of the dodo's downfall. At this point in time, the population of the cats, rats, and pigs the Dutch brought with them has significantly increased. Unfortunately for the dodos, the cats and rats now on this island acquired a taste for dodo eggs. A combination of human-animal hunting pushed the dodo birds past their limit. The dodos started fighting back, using their sharp, curved beaks, but by then it was too late. The last dodo was killed in 1681. In 1865, Charles Dodgson, also known as Lewis Carroll, published the book Alice in Wonderland. The reaction to the dodo bird in this story added a new chapter in the dodo's long and tumultuous history, for many people didn't know what a dodo bird was. During the Dutch occupation of Mauritius, some of the sailors dug up some bones. They excavated a site where these bones were plentiful in the marshes and shipped them back to the Netherlands and to Holland for further study. At this point in history, many people either didn't know that animals could go extinct or they didn't want to believe it, so they didn't take as good of care of the bones as they should have. During this time, many bones got destroyed or lost. In June 2007, scientists declared that they have found a well-preserved dodo skeleton in a cave on Mauritius.
Was it a full skeleton?
No, it was not, but because of the location of the dodo skeleton in the cave, it was the most well-preserved fossil the scientists have yet found. Scientists think they can gather enough DNA from the skeleton and implant it into a Nicobar pigeon embryo. Since we are the oldest living relative, maybe, just maybe, that DNA will hold and a baby dodo bird might live long enough to reproduce and continue on with the dodo bird legacy. Scientists have tried their hand at de-extinction, but so far they haven't had a lot of luck. French and Spanish scientists have combined forces and gathered enough DNA samples to bring back the Pyrenean ibex. They implanted that DNA into an empty goat embryo. The DNA held, but sadly, the offspring didn't survive. The offspring had a deformed lung, which unfortunately led to its death. This setback hasn't discouraged scientists, though. They are working harder than ever to one day bring back extinct animals, like the dodo birds. So far, the Pyrenean ibex is the only animal the scientists have actually attempted to bring back. They still have some DNA taken from the last remaining ibex before it died, which they are hoping will work to produce an offspring that will live long enough to reproduce.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it is, and scientists still have a lot more work to do on the topic of de-extinction.
Force us underground for a billion years!
So you got 3 melons?
If you weren't smart enough to plan ahead, then doom on you!
Doom on you! Doom on you!
Get away from me!
Oh no! No! Retrieve the melon!